A Little Princess. Sarah was sent out in the rain and the snow to do chores for Mrs. Minchin. All she had to wear was a thin coat and old worn-out shoes. She shivered with cold. She never had enough to eat, so she was always hungry. But Sarah never complained. "I have to be brave like a real princess," she told herself. "Papa would want that. And I can pretend that I am warm and full and happy. Pretending makes everything better." Every night, Sarah told Becky stories. Sometimes the stories were about them. "Our room is so high. It is like a cozy nest," Sarah said. "Pretend that there is a soft rug and a hot fire, and a shelf full of books, and a table with tea and cakes, and a big soft bed with silk covers. Think of it." "Oh, miss," Becky would say, "how lucky we are to be here." When Sarah told it, it felt real. Sarah looked out of her window one evening and saw lights. People were living next door. Who were they? Finally, Sarah saw someone, but it wasn't a person. It was a little monkey. He sat chattering by the window. Suddenly, the monkey leaped across the roof to Sarah's window and jumped onto Sarah's head. Sarah laughed with delight. Seconds later, an Indian gentleman came chasing after the monkey. His name was Ram Dass. He looked in Sarah's window. "Come back, you bad monkey," he scolded, but he smiled as he said it. The monkey was racing around the attic. He jumped into Sarah's arms. Sarah handed him to Ram Dass. "Thank you, miss," said Ram Dass. My master will be so grateful. He is always sad, and the monkey makes him laugh." "Why is he sad?" asked Sarah. His best friend died," said Ram Dass, "and now he is looking for his friend's child. He will not rest until he finds her." "I'm sorry," said Sarah. "I hope your master finds the child." Ram Dass took the monkey home and told his master all about Sarah. "She lived in such a cold, awful room," said Ram Dass. "It is no place for a little girl." That night, Sarah went to bed hungry and cold as usual, but when she woke up, she was warm. She reached out and felt a blanket. "I must be dreaming," she said. Then she opened her eyes. "This can't be real," she gasped. But it was. A thick rug lay on the floor. There was a glowing fire and a table covered with food. A silk robe and slippers lay waiting for her. A pile of books lay nearby. On top was a note. "To the little girl in the attic, from a friend." Sarah ran to get Becky. "It's magic," she cried. A magician came while we were sleeping." The two girls sat by the fire. They had fruit and muffins and tea. "Would it all melt away?" asked Becky. "No," said Sarah. "I pinched myself to be sure it is real." The girls didn't expect the magic to happen again, but from then on, every morning and evening, every night, a cheery fire and a hot meal waited for them. Sarah still worked hard. Miss Minchin was nastier than ever. But Sarah did not mind. She had a secret friend. She only wished that somehow she could say thank you. One day, the monkey came back. "You silly thing," said Sarah. She picked him up and slipped next door. "You found our monkey again," said Ram Dass when he saw her. "Please come in. The master, Mr. Carriswold, will be glad if you visit." Inside sat a sad-looking man with a kind face. So you're the little girl in the attic," said Mr. Carriswold. "You sent those wonderful things to me, Sarah said, realizing that he was her secret friend. Tell me, what is your name? Asked Mr. Carrisfold. Sarah, she said. Sarah Crewe. Mr. Carrisfold became pale. You are Captain Crow's child, he said. He was my best friend. I have been looking for you. I am the child you were looking for, Sarah whispered. And I was right next door. If only I had known, Mr. Carrisfold said. You see, Sarah, your father did not lose his fortune. I have kept it for you. You will live a good life with me. I'm glad, said Sarah. But please, what about my friend Becky? Becky can come too, said Mr. Carrisfold. The very same day, Sarah and Becky left Miss Minchin's school forever. Miss Minchin was angry and upset. She even begged Sarah to come back. But Sarah said never. Most of the girls were happy for Sarah. Becky, of course, was happiest of all. I was right, Becky told Sarah. You always were a princess. You always will be. I always try to be, Sarah said softly.